Hello and welcome to this conversation brought to you by White House Custom Color. I'm Jed Toffer. Today I'm talking with Carrie Wilds. How are you, Carrie?
Good. I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. We were just talking about how we're here in imaging in Nashville and how much laughter there is and how your voice starts to go away by the end of the convention. At least mine does, so I'm hoping it holds out. If I lose it, then you're just going to have to take over.
Oh, I'll just have to talk the whole rest of the time.
I'll give you like a little signal. You can just pick up wherever we're at and just run with it.
So if you don't hear Jed anymore, then it's my show and I get to say whatever I want.
Yeah, well,
perfect.
You should say whatever you want anyway.
Oh.
That's the goal. We want to just hear whatever you have to say. You've been busy here.
Yeah.
You've been here since
busy.
December 27th.
Has it been since after Christmas? No, since Thursday, whatever day Thursday was. I don't even know.
No, you don't. You lose that when you're down here.
I don't even know what today is. What's today? Tuesday?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, today is Tuesday. So you've been here since Thursday. What all did you do here?
Well, so I had to drive here from Florida. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, it was 60 degrees and not snowing.
Right.
Right now, it's 18 degrees and snowing. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that goes. 18
might be generous.
Yes, too. Maybe 10. I'm not sure. I opened the door for 1 second to take a picture and that's it.
Yeah, living in Florida now, you're not used to these types of temperatures that you experienced way back when.
Yes, I don't have a scraper. And the other day there was 2 inches of ice and snow on my car. So I then just left it and took an Uber to dinner because I do not do that anymore and I don't own a scraper. So I was kind of screwed at that point.
So not only do you not do it, but you couldn't do it. You were incapable.
Yes. Someone told me to use a credit card and I'm like, no, because I don't have gloves. So that doesn't help me.
There's that. And credit cards are only effective if it's just like a small layer.
Yeah.
I'm kind of an expert at ice on windshields and stuff. I tried harsh language once and that didn't work either.
No.
Believe it or not.
I opt for leaving it.
An Uber.
Yes. So my car stayed here and I Ubered.
So
yes. You've
been doing a lot though here.
Yeah. So I drove here Thursday because I taught all day. On Saturday, I taught a pre-con class. It was 18 things to do in your business to thrive in 2018.
Oh, good. Yes.
Yeah. So it went really well. It was about 25 students and I actually really enjoy that size of class because there's a lot of interaction and conversation. That
is a great size. I agree with you.
Yeah. I've done platform before and that is just so nerve-wracking for me.
I almost die every time.
Yeah, it is. But that I can teach all day and that's so fun. It was 9 to 5. So I had a great class too. We had a lot of good conversation and everyone built their plans. I made them. That's why they were there. But
you forced them to do what you wanted them to do.
Yeah. But I had them build their plans with all kinds of, there was probably more like 630 things than 18,
well, of course.
The title sounded good.
Yeah. Well, it fit.
Yeah. So that's why I did it. But so I had to drive Thursday because I'm also exhibiting at the expo with my new company that I have. So I had to set up all day on Friday so that I could teach on Saturday so that I could exhibit starting.
Oh, you were a vendor. You were an exhibitor here. Mm-hmm. I guess I didn't realize that. What is it called? Yeah,
so it's called Wedding Wiz.
Yeah.
And it is an online platform for wedding photographers to ask their couples all the information they need to photograph the wedding on the day of, and then it auto formats it into a schedule. So it's a project I've been working on for the last few years with a developer and photographers testing. And so this is kind of my first in-person marketing of this tool that doesn't exist in anything else.
How did it go? Was it good?
So we've done tons and tons of demos and gotten people to sign up and gotten really great feedback. So
awesome.
Yeah. So it's a lot of work. This was actually one of my big goals with Wedding Wiz. It was to exhibit at imaging and it happened. So
will you go to WPPI too?
I actually talked to the guy that he's here, but it's in Vegas, which is really far.
It is in Vegas.
So I think I probably won't because I need to do a lot of kind of planning based on how things went here and that kind of thing. So I probably won't be at WPPI.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Maybe next year, yeah.
So you had a good class. You didn't have one of those. You didn't have the one. You've taught classes before, and if you have 23 people, 22 of them are amazing, and you would just want to take them all out to dinner, but then there's that one. You didn't have the one.
I'm trying to think. No, there was one that could have been the one, like when we were doing intros where you're like, oh gosh, talk forever, not sure.
15 minutes later, hey, these are like 1 minute intro.
Yeah, but it was totally fine. Like, it wasn't. Everybody was like,
that's great.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Yeah. So, and at the end, the two like assistants that were in the PPA volunteers, they told the class, they're like, you can do your evaluations, but only if they're a really good one. And I was like, oh, good answer. That's a good one. They were kidding, of course, but
okay, good.
They're like, only turn them in if they're really good. And I was
good.
Like, oh,
you know
perfect.
what? It's funny because I used to be nervous about those, but then I didn't want the good ones.
Yeah, you just want to know the bad.
I only wanted the bad ones.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the critiques.
Exactly.
And they were always the same.
Really?
Every time. Vicky talks too fast.
Ah.
Every time. But what was funny is because we'd go through all of them, but then a lot of the good ones would say, Vicky talks so fast, I got so much information.
Oh.
So the same critique
was good
and bad.
Ah. I always tell them I talk fast. It's going to be fast anyway. So they need to like pay attention and like catch it, but ask questions if not. So they never gave bad critiques of you, just Vicky.
Well, she did like 98%.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes they would say, I think I saw Jed up there too. Was Jed, was there somebody else there?
Who was that other person?
There was like a creeper behind her. Like, what was he doing? I felt really uncomfortable.
Right?
So give us a little background about who you are.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start? Just kidding.
Let's go with 3 years old.
3 years old. Oh, wow. That's how old my kids are. So
I know it.
That's
those
a
little
long
girls.
time ago.
Hey, I just saw a post of them getting into the paint, or what was that?
Oh, my gosh. So my husband, who, is actually a very good dad and amazing with our girls. Yeah. He actually does just as much, if not more work than I do in general with everything, but not with my business, but with everything housework and the girls and whatever. So my in-laws came because it's MLK weekend to help. My father-in-law is a teacher. So they came to help. So I get this picture on Sunday was it Sunday? Yeah, Sunday that of my girls.
Oh man.
Completely covered in blue paint. They look like Blue Man Group or avatars.
The avatars.
And they are so proud of themselves, and it's this picture of them just ecstatic about their accomplishment. So keep in mind there are 3 adults about 5 feet away watching football all while this has occurred. Yeah. And they are literally, covered. I think they painted each other's faces because they're like literally perfectly covered in blue paint. Their faces
are bright. They seem so tremendously happy and proud of their accomplishment.
Oh yeah, and you can't be mad at them. No. He said they were so happy with themselves. So
that's fantastic.
I'm just glad I didn't have to clean it up because yeah. So hopefully we'll see how much. We'll see what it looks like.
What the residual effects are when you get home.
We don't have anything nice, so it doesn't matter. Anything, the table and the dining room can all be washed and repainted.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, I have nothing nice anyway. Yeah, so
we've transitioned into that too.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah, just, whatever.
Yeah.
They were being creative, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah. If you buy something, you have to be okay with it being broken or somehow vandalized.
Yeah. Vandalism. That's actually, I like that term a lot.
My son can be a little vandal.
Yeah.
And it is hard to get angry. I think I encourage him sometimes because I laugh so hard. And then I know that, this probably isn't proper parenting.
True.
But I can't get over it.
True. Well, the best inventions are magic erasers and the Roomba is what I've learned.
We just got a Roomba 3 days ago.
Oh my God, it's
I haven't even seen it yet because I'm not there.
Do you have so I've had it for 3 years and I literally never vacuum ever.
I've had it 3 days.
Not that I ever would vacuum before.
Idea. I saw a picture of it this morning.
We have hardwood floors. Do you have a dog?
Yes.
Okay, so one tip.
And hardwood floors.
Okay, we have all hardwood floors and 2 dogs and a cat. This has not happened to me, but it is on YouTube. Do never let the Roomba run through dog poop ever.
Nope. Well, oh boy, if that happens.
It will run through your entire house and ruin everything.
I'll tell you what, I'm getting a little, because it's Vicky's dog. It's not my dog. It's the kid's dog. It's Vicky's dog.
So you might be in trouble.
If that happens, I'm going to have a heart attack just thinking about it right
Yeah.
now.
Well, don't. It hasn't happened yet at my house unless it happened while I was gone.
I stepped in it walking down the hall in the dark the other day.
Oh.
And I almost lost it.
Yeah. You will kill your Roomba and your
came
dog.
really close to losing my religion. And it was on my shoe and I felt it and I was so, oh boy. We're going to move on so I don't get fired up here at this conversation.
Anyways.
Back to your background.
Back to my background.
Let's start. How did you get into photography?
Yes. So I actually have an industrial engineering background, which I always say because I think it makes me sound like I'm smart when I'm really not. I just work hard. But I went to Purdue and I got a corporate job after college and lived in Chicago and did tons and tons of travel. And I've started getting into photography through traveling. And actually I went on a mission trip to the Philippines years ago, maybe, I don't know, 15, 16 years ago. And like photographing those people and the reaction that people had when I came back and they saw them is how I started to love photography in terms of showing people something that they would never be able to see or that they would never choose to see on their own. So because I loved that, I figured out I wanted to learn how to shoot. And one of my friends' parents owned a sports photography company in Chicago. And so they always hired randoms, which was me, to shoot the little kid like cheerleaders and football players and stuff like that. And so you have to, it's very technical because it's just like you have to shoot it like pretty much perfectly and then they just batch everything and print it. So I really learned how to like shoot technically that way.
Sure.
And they also had one of their daughters shot weddings too. And I always wanted to shoot with them and they never would let me. I don't know if it was they never would let me, but I don't think they wanted to train I don't know.
No,
but
either one.
I know.
Could be both.
But I never shot weddings with them. And so then when I got married, my husband's from Florida. So I had a job and he didn't. He graduated from grad school. So he moved to Chicago. And 2 years later, it snowed on his birthday in April. And he's like, we're not living here one more minute.
That was
yeah.
That was the last straw.
It was the last straw. He made it 2 winters, though. That's pretty good for Florida boy. So then we looked at different cities. I wanted to move to Raleigh because they have Research Triangle and a lot of jobs there. He wanted Florida, and we actually ended up looking at Tampa. And I was like, oh, it's not what I thought. I thought Florida was all trailer parks and old people, but it isn't actually. It's really Tampa's
more than that.
Yeah, some places not, but Tampa is actually really fun and young, and we ended up relocating there. And so I got another engineering job. And at the same time, I was like, well, I'm starting over. Maybe I'll figure out this business thing and start it and see if I can make it a go. And so I set my goals and I worked with the small business office there. And I knew nothing about the wedding industry and not much about photography. And so
you started with a clean slate.
Yes, of nothingness. And so it's actually like, it's been 10 years since then. So it's so crazy. But I set goals for how much I wanted to have saved and booked and be on a path before I quit my job because, I had a pretty lucrative income. So within a year, I was able to quit my full-time job and then do photography. And I actually quit the day after my 1-year anniversary with that company. So I didn't have to pay my reload package back.
Oh my.
Yeah. Cause it was a lot of money.
And
I was like, no, I am not.
You're one of those people.
Yes.
You took
I'm
advantage of the situation.
I know. I fulfilled my contract. Is the way I look at it instead of taking advantage, but I guess it is actually that.
You could frame it either way. They both mean the same.
Yeah. So I pretty much, so I learned that in Tampa, in Florida in general, there's actually 2 wedding seasons, spring and fall, which is the opposite of most other places because it's warm all year and you could shoot all year. So in terms of photography, it's actually really good because, you're not limited to a certain few months for weddings and things like that.
Right.
But the downside is that everyone moves to Florida and there's a gajillion photographers that are there. So, I've learned a ton. I feel like, especially being at a conference like this, I feel like I don't know anything. And I've been doing this for a long time and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many things I want to learn. And actually, since I've been doing the trade show and the expo, I haven't because I can't focus on other things right now. I have to focus on that. So I really have only gone to one class and I have only gone to one booth of an album company that I think that for what I'm doing, that I want to kind of adjust the products I'm offering and things like that. So sure. I think for this year, having it be my 10 years, I want to kind of refocus on, kind of reviving and redoing some things and making it like fresh and new.
What do you like? What have you seen here in particular that has made you feel, less than?
I think I don't know if it's less than, but it's more of like how far I want to go kind of thing.
Okay. Okay, that's helpful.
I mean, I guess it is kind of both, but it's just like, like you hear speakers.
Almost, but it's like almost inferior. I heard.
Yeah.
What I was getting from you is like an inferiority type of thing. Like, I have so much. I'm not near as far as I could be, maybe. Or like that.
Or just like there's just so much further that you can take.
Right.
What you're doing. So, just some like not speakers in general, but like there's photographers that are just like killing it in how they do things, or they're in a different type of photography. So you're just like, whoa, this person makes like $250,000 a year just doing portraits with Santa. Like, whoa. That's amazing. Like, how fun would that be?
That's solid work.
So there's just so many, I think, like valuable things that you can take and put in your business, but it's like figuring out, what am I going to take that's going to help take me to the next level kind of thing. Because you can always get, better in your business and, your shooting and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like there's just always so much room for improving.
There's an awful lot of room. Moving into 2018, your program was 18 things you can do in 2018, right? And there was really like 4,000 of them, but what are a couple of those? What are a couple of the big ones that you think are important?
So my favorite one that is picking a word of the year. So it's not really...
That's your favorite? That really is your favorite one?
I'm obsessed with that this year. I don't know why. And it's not just, it's not really necessarily like business or photography related, but over the last few years, you see where people are like picking their word of the year. Like I've seen it a little bit, but this year I feel like I've seen it a lot more, and it's kind of called like the unresolution. Because usually with resolutions, you're focusing on the type of person you don't want to be. So I want to give up Diet Coke. I want to be 30 pounds lighter, or I want to exercise 20 times a week because I never do. So a resolution is like you're focusing on the person you don't want to be, that kind of person anymore.
Right.
But I love the word of the year because you pick one word and you focus on being that kind of person at the end of the year.
So it's like a positive, negative sort of thing.
Yeah. And it's just one thing. So it's,
simple.
Instead of like, I'm going to do these 6 things. And then you are like, oh, shoot.
By day 2, you're like, I don't know.
Yeah. You're like,
maybe one of them.
Yeah. I always love all
I
know. I always love all the memes and like posts about how the gyms are flooded in January.
Well, they are.
I know. And then in February, they're like, empty.
Yeah. I've been one of those people that have flooded the gyms like 5 times. My resolution is always in this year. I shouldn't say that because this year it really wasn't, but it's almost always surrounding exercise.
Yeah.
And, oh man. I rarely last more than 3 days.
Well, especially if you live somewhere cold, it's like much harder. I don't know how I used to do that. I used to get up at like 5 a.m. and go to the gym.
Oh my goodness.
And like in this weather where, that's like not like, I could never do that anymore. But
I don't want to get up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym on a perfect day.
I know.
God, I would always have an excuse. It's like, it's a perfect day. I think I'm just going to stay in bed.
Now if it's below 50, we're like, we can't run outside. It's too cold.
Man, if it gets to 50 where I'm from in this time, even close to that, people
it's
are
hot.
Like in flip-flops, shorts, no shirts.
Exactly, yeah.
So you have a word of the year.
I do. And I was actually really proud of my class because it took me probably a week to settle on what I was choosing. And in the class I taught, I would each topic that I talked about at the end, I would give like 5 to 10 minutes to plan out and actually work on some of the things so that they actually do it. So when I had them do it, I gave them 10 minutes to work on their word of the year, and I gave them some like tips to do it. And at the end of it, they pretty much everyone had a word.
What's a tip to do it?
So like I said, what you want to do initially when you're trying to choose a word of the year is you have to think about the type of person you want to be at the end of the year. And then you have to list out words that are those qualities. So like if you want to have more joy, if you want to rebuild something like you were talking about, if you if you want your life to be more simple, like what are the qualities and words that describe that type of person you want to be at the end of the year. And then you zone on one and you pick that. And then you want that thread to be the focus of your decisions and how you do things in life for the year. So it's just one thing. So for me personally, I chose courage as my word of the year because number one, I'm turning 40 this year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I look like I'm 25 still, right?
You look a lot younger than 4. I'm not even joking. You look like I kind of think you're not telling the truth. But
I am.
I believe you.
It's all Botox and running. That's what I always tell people.
That's the secret.
It is. But yes, so I'm turning 40 in November, and this is my 10th year in business. So I figure courage is something that I need in my life this year. And when I was looking up the meaning of it, the root word, like I'm not a very good like English word person. Right. My husband will like say my literacy is not very good because I'm a numbers like engineer person. But the root word of it is like cur, which means heart. So courage is actually not just, having the ability to do things or, to move forward and that kind of thing, but it's doing it in a way to where you are being heartfelt about how you do things and thinking about, also how it can impact other people like in a kind way too. So did you see that movie, the newest version of Cinderella?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Which is amazing.
I love that film.
I took my niece to see it. She was a teenager, and I could not believe that it had like such a great message in it. Yes, it does. It's probably one of my favorite movies, which is, I don't know, it's just so good.
It reminds me a little bit of Up in the very beginning.
Yeah.
I'm weeping 7 minutes into the movie.
Exactly.
I'm a crier.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I don't know if I can handle another 137 minutes. I don't know if I can do this.
See, my husband's the crier too, so I'm not as emotional. So
neither
again,
is my wife.
Yeah, that's why I know.
Vicky always looks at me and she's like, "Are you crying?" I'm like, just shut up. Don't look at me.
I'm always like, do I see a tear?
You're pulling me right out.
I know. He can't watch I love This Is Us. He can't watch it because he's like, I don't want to cry every week. Why would I want to do that?
We watch that show and I get angry every time.
Oh, it's so good.
Because I don't know why I put myself through it.
Yeah. See,
especially with the
way.
whole adoption piece, that both of us can relate.
Now. Yeah.
It crushes me.
I know. It's so good.
All of my stuff comes out. I mean, it's just all the deep. And I know it happens with a lot of people, but I think that I would be embarrassed if people could see how hard I cry at that movie.
I think you should Facebook Live it once.
Oh my goodness.
It would probably go viral if you could Facebook Live like your movie watching and all kinds of.
People would think I was faking. That's how bad it gets sometimes.
So I definitely think you should do that now. So in Cinderella, okay, so if you haven't seen it, I'm just going to tell people the best message in that movie, 2 best messages is at the end, she forgives the wicked stepmother.
Yes, she does.
And she says, I forgive you. And it like blew my mind. I couldn't believe that this Disney movie.
I bawled when she said that.
Yeah, it was, it's like a good therapy movie actually. Mm-hmm. But the whole thread throughout the movie was have courage and be kind.
Yes, have courage.
And I feel like for especially like for kids, for anyone really, like when I was thinking about the word courage, it reminded me of that movie. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I love that word, because it's so what I want to do and what how I want to be at the end of 2018 is I want to be more heartfelt in my decisions of how I communicate with people, being generous, really going out of the way to really just be more heartfelt in everything. Like with clients, it's easy. I shoot weddings. So, I mean, I really don't care. Like people can do whatever and it's totally fine. Like I don't, I have like kind sort of bossy reactions to people like clients and stuff, but because I shoot weddings, so
Did you say I have kind bossy?
Yeah, kind reactions? And bossy.
Oh, kind of bossy.
Kind and
both. There's like a
we're
weird.
Not allowed to curse on here, are we?
If you do, I can bleep it.
Okay.
Or I just tell people that it's an X.
Okay. Well, my people. Like my husband calls it like the nice B word. So I'm a nice B word because I say it in a way that's nice, but I'm getting across here's what we're actually going to do because that's like a terrible idea. Oh. With weddings, you gotta like.
So you're not passive aggressive. You're like aggressive.
Yeah.
You just flat out say it.
Yes.
Like, no, we're not going to. With a smile on your face.
Exactly. And people are like fine with it, usually. Because
they're terrified.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be fine with it too.
Yeah. So that's like okay for, weddings and things like that. But.
Well, in those situations, sometimes that's what needs to be done.
Yeah.
I've been in those situations.
It usually does need to be. So, but then it's like, other people in your personal life that are closer to you, like family members and, friends and people that are annoying. Yeah. It's not. So I'm like not an emotional person clearly. And I'm a kind of not all business, like I'm much less business than I used to be now in life just because of, my kids and my priorities and things like that. But I think just in general, like I would like to kind of stop a little bit more and put that, like be more intentional about having the courage to be heartfelt and show kindness in a lot of different ways than I normally would just not think about, if that makes sense.
I like the way, the intentionality piece is the big piece.
Which that's actually a really good word too. I like that word too.
Intentional? Mm-hmm. Well, I think with what you're talking about, that's what's required.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think people are accidentally courageous. It kind of takes the bottom out of it, like to have courage, I think requires some intentionality. So I'm taking note of how you seem to be really diving in. Like you even looked up the etymology of the word.
I did, mainly because I was teaching a class, but.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You wanted to have your P's and your Q's in order.
Yes, but I actually do really like definitions. So whenever I'm talking about something, because I feel like a lot of times I'm like, do I really know what that means? Mm-hmm. I actually do like to look it up and make sure that I understand the true meaning of it. Because then if you're talking about something and you're like, oh, or someone's like, well, that's not actually what that word means. You just wholly lost what you were supposed to be talking about.
I just don't like looking like an idiot. So.
Yeah. or that.
Like I gotta know what I'm talking about a little bit.
There's that too.
That falls through all too often. I don't know how many times I've even said stuff on this podcast that people are like, nope, that's not right. That's not true. He's an idiot.
Kind of makes it fun though, because then it makes people think, and they gotta actually decide. Oh, is Jed really telling me something?
That's true? My plan.
I'm not sure.
That's what I'm trying to do. That's my MO, to get people to think.
Yeah, definitely.
So I was wondering, this year now, let's say December 27th gets here, you're at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. And what does success look like for you regarding courage?
Ooh, that is a good one. Because I've kind of thought about the qualities, like what I want to be more of as a person.
Yeah.
But I think overall, in general, what I would like to have, so personally, I'm just thinking of like what is coming to my mind right now. I would like to focus on, like in my personal life, friendships of mine that are really important. And I want to put the time into really building the friendships with the people that are most important to me. And, you know, kind of those fringe friendships that you kind of bring people along and, you know, you try, but it's kind of frustrating. People that aren't, you know, the most important people in your life, that they really don't care. Like, you know, you're just trying to be friends with someone who, you know, to them, they're like, oh, you're great. But, you know, I hang out with you, that's great. If not, whatever. So it kind of comes back to the intentional thing, because I'm the type of person, like, I like to plan things, but I like to be friends with people who also like to plan things and be intentional as well. So I really want to focus on and put time into those friendships, and then just, you know, other ones that aren't like that, you know, it's totally fine. Like, just let it go and, you know, just let it see how it goes, kind of thing. And then, you know, being more kind and understanding, like, to family members and things like that you know, because there's always drama every so often. I'm definitely not going to get into that. But
no, we should not.
No, I'm not going to go there. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but at the end of the year, I would like other people, friends that I'm friends with, to be, feel like that we've gotten to be closer in our friendship, and that we've spent like quality time throughout the year getting, you know, encouraging each other and getting to know each other better.
So stronger relationships.
Yeah. And not like a lot. I think more focused on the most important ones.
Not your second circle, your first circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
exactly.
There's 3 circles, isn't that how it works?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
This is something I could be wrong about.
Yeah. So I'm going to look that up.
Look up the circles.
And then I'll comment on this and be like, actually, there's 4 circles.
You're way off.
Yeah, that is not correct. And then in my business, this is business, I would say it's more of like, is like a courage thing. Like I branding wise, and, you know, knowing who I am and our photography style, like I know that, but I think also now bringing some new things in that represent that on a higher level is what I want to do in my business, in offering things to our clients, and, you know, changing my sales process to incorporate those things that really then not just identifies the brand, but helps people to connect with it more and really want what we do in that print sense, if that kind of makes sense.
Well, it sounds like an evolution, like you're growing to the next, like getting to the next phase.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah. Cause I think if you've done, you know, like if you've done things a certain way for a long time, it's just easy to keep doing it.
To stagnate.
Yeah. And to not change it. So, I think what I'm doing isn't bad. I just want to take it to the next level.
Well, which requires planning and risk.
And then switching things. And it's a lot of...
And that requires courage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I have this Wedding Wiz startup company as well. So it's...
Also requires courage.
Yeah. So a lot. And it's been 4 years that I've been working on it. So it's the courage to figure out what the next steps are.
Right.
And at the end of this year, I would love to have like a clear path of, you know, where that's going, kind of thing, so that I can focus.
Some clarity.
Yeah. Cause it's hard to focus on more than one thing, really.
I get that too.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about Wedding Wiz. What I like to do with some people sometimes is a call to action. Mm-hmm. So I guess your call to action would be for people to come up with their word of the year. Yeah. Because it's not too late. I know that we're in the middle of January, but
it's not. It's not
still
too late at all. Yeah.
Right.
And it's funny because I was like, oh, I think I'm going to do it. And then, you know, like actually like pick a word of the year and really do it. When I saw this initially, I was like, oh, I think I'm going to do that. And then for the first time ever, I bought a planner.
Okay.
Like I never do that. I do goals, but I
wish people could see your face when you said that. It was like,
I know.
I think you were waiting. It was like you were waiting for the music.
Yeah.
I bought a planner.
And
you were looking at me and your eyes were all
crazy. I've never bought one. And I'm not talking about like a calendar. Like I live by Google Calendar. Like it's not like that. Like it's a legit planner that helps you like really flush out your goals and month by month.
So this isn't a digital thing. You bought a physical.
No, yes, with like pages.
Like from like 2008 type of thing where you buy a physical thing that you write in.
Yeah, and it's like pretty with like pink and gold. And so I opened it And this is actually really funny. My husband, like, we have a hard time buying each other stuff. Like, Christmas is so fun for kids, and like for adults, it's like, whatever. So he can never think of things to buy for me, which I don't care. Like for me, it's like, whatever. If I need something, I'll get it. So I told him I specifically wanted this planner, and I told him in like November because he asked me what I wanted for Christmas. So then we're opening Christmas presents, and the one thing I asked for, he forgot about.
Oh, he did forget.
Yes, and so I actually had to go and buy it myself.
Well, that's because he's busy doing all the other stuff.
I know. Yes. So it's actually really funny because I was like, I told you actually something I really wanted, and I really wanted it, and he forgot. But so then I went and bought it anyway.
This is hard. I've been there before,
I know.
brother.
So that was my Christmas present. But when I opened it, the very first card in it was your word of the year. So that you write your word of the year. That's like the very first thing I saw. So this was like the end of December. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's your call to action to people, is come up with a word of the year.
Yeah, I think it's the best way to become a better person.
Right.
Because how do you really become a better person? It's like,
I haven't figured it out.
Yeah,
yet.
exactly.
I've become a worse person, I think.
Me too. Yes. Because it's so easy to become.
It's so easy to become worse.
Yeah. And it's so easy to portray yourself
as
online
better.
and social media as such a great person.
Which I also do.
Yeah, me too. When you're not, and people who know you the best are like, no. That's not what's
true. Up. See, they're in my one little circle of friends, and I try not to post anything that they can see. And I'm ironically not friends with them on Facebook. Yeah. They're all blocked.
Exactly. They are blocked. Yes, definitely. So I would definitely, I think word of the year. You asked me at the end of this year, but
I would like to know. I think that people should come up with a word of the year, and they should come up with what success looks like. Mm-hmm. Like what, at the end of this year, you have your word of the year. When you want to look back and say, yep, that was helpful, or I did it, or whatever it is that made that word of the year worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. And right? I think not just in business, but in your entire life, because your life isn't just business, even though you think it is.
Right. Well,
sometimes, but then after a while, you learn it's not.
I think I'm going to change my word of the year to cheeseburger.
That's not gonna help your other goal very well. I guess if you go to the gym so that you can have cheeseburgers,
they're in conflict.
Or if you only eat cheeseburgers and not the actual bun, it might be okay.
Oh no, the bun's included. It's not a cheeseburger if there's no bun. Hey, you know what? This was really great. Thank you for doing this. Yeah. I know that you've been super busy, and I know that you're driving back very shortly through a potential blizzard or storm or something.
It looks like it's stopping-ish.
But I hope that you have a very safe drive, and that everything goes okay today, and you get home safe to those beautiful little babies. And that fantastic husband of yours, long-suffering man that
I'm going to make him listen to this.
You're going to make him.
Yeah.
I believe you. I
know.
You will.
He will hear the part about the Christmas present, but he'll hear all the other good things too.
You can just skip through that really fast.
I know, exactly.
Well, thanks for doing this. It was great. We'll have to reconnect later, see how everything happened with Courage for 2018.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I always enjoy it.
Yeah, have a good day.
Thanks.